Hi, welcome to the Andrew Buckle book review of Penny Dreadfuls and Comics. Now this is from the Museum of Childhood from Bethnal Green, and it came out in 1983. It was actually for an exhibition in 1983. Sadly one I didn't go to because it was quite close to where I was living at the time. Should have gone to it. But it was actually a loan exhibition from Oldenburg. Now there's 124 pages in this, nicely colour and black and white all the way through. Lots of examples as well, lots of text and also pictures, examples. You've got some nice introduction. 350 items apparently were used in this exhibition on display. So must have been a really good exhibition. Sadly, so little about Penny Dreadfuls though. Really, Penny Dreadfuls, there's one or two books about it, but not much. I mean, obviously there was the TV series, Penny Dreadfuls, which I've watched. It was actually okay. I wouldn't say I was over the moon about that. But Boys Will Be Boys is another book. That's E.S. Turner. So if you're interested in Penny Dreadfuls, probably worth checking that book out. I've actually ordered a copy myself. I don't know what it's like. Apparently it's got good reviews, so I assume hopefully it's going to be very good. You've got obviously Penny Dreadfuls, but there's also comics as well. Traditional comics, the Beanos, the Girls Comics, Eagle, etc. Wish it had concentrated more on the Penny Dreadfuls. Obviously because there's so little information, whereas Beano, etc., zillions of books about Beano. You've got, obviously, Charlie Chaplin there, film fun, I assume. And, of course, quite a lot of it mentions here about most of the material is with private collectors. So I don't know how many books are available in like, the British Library. Be nice to know, actually check out. But they're great titles. Lots of them always had boys in the titles. Boys Companion, Wild Boys, Boys of England. All like 1890, 18, and you've got dates here as well as some examples. Boys of England, and now this one is was one penny. Wow, a young gentleman's journal, no less. Of course, and you got obviously the text, you got the picture, and it must have been pretty good before all the photos and things. Obviously, that would have made it a bit expensive. I suppose the processes weren't available, so obviously they went for that. And you can see there. I mean, some of them like had loads of volumes, 29 quarterly volumes. Probably thousands and thousands and thousands of pages, loads and loads of issues. Most of them have vanished. I did have a Penny Dreadful, what's classified as Penny Dreadful. Sadly, looking around, I must have got rid of it. One of those things I always away. Often get rid of books and things. I think, oh no, I don't want that. And then when I look for them again, I think, oh, they've got a bit more expensive now. I'm not going to be buying that anytime soon. And you've got examples here, more examples. And then you got Penny Packets of Poison, Young Tom's School Days. Obviously a film of that as well. And you got Charles Peace, The Adventures of Notorious Burglar. Well, I suppose why not? Now they would probably do the same with some of the recent sort of people that have done various things. This is one I had, or probably an issue of anyway. Dick Turpin. I think it was about 1906. So it's not old Penny Dreadful into the 19th century, but Robin Hood, those sort of things. So there was a lot of sensational romance. 24 pages. I love this. I suppose romance is defined slightly differently back then because 24 pages of seasonal romance. Sweeney Todd. Would you? Would you classify that as seasonal romance? I don't think I'd classify that as seasonal romance, but maybe romance novels had a slightly different definition. Dime novels, you've got dime novels, great titles again. You've got all the various Aldine, I should say, Aldine, get it right. Whatever, you can see it there. Aldine, Cheerful Library. Well, that's a great name. Cheerful Library. You can't beat a cheerful library, can you? 76, 822 numbers as well. Again, where do the 1911, all those sort of things. Now, you can still pick those sort of things up, generally, those sort of old 1911, at markets and book fairs and things. And I love picking them up, those sort of things. I've got a few odd items. I've done a few book reviews of those sort of things, but not all of the ones I've got. Chatterbox, those sort of things. So you can see examples there and you can see. But I wish they would turn up more commonly. It's weird considering the thousands and millions of copies that must have been printed. Chums and all those sort of things, they just don't turn up. I've seen that, definitely seen that around somewhere. Early Boys Annual. They do turn up in markets, normally for a couple of quid sometimes. Billy Bunter, I've got a couple of Billy Bunter and Sexton Blake. They're okay. I wouldn't say not a mega fan. You've got Gem, Magnet, etc. And there's also a collection of Billy Bunter ones. They're worth checking out. They're, again, of their time. And that's the thing that's fascinating about them. I mean, it would be terrible if they suddenly saw Billy Bunter with a mobile phone kind of thing, wouldn't you? You're thinking that. Well, probably if someone updates them, maybe they will. But so you've got Magnet and things. Of course, that world, there's no TV sets in it, no radios, nothing. It's just you see it as it was back in the day, which is great. People just sitting and reading and those sort of things. The Big Five. And then you've got some forerunners of comics. And you've got here mentions some of these broad sheets, etc. So you've got there. I think they're just great. Comic Life, all these sort of magazines, just great. Halfpenny. I mean, Halfpenny, which was probably quite a lot, actually. If you didn't have vast amounts of money, Halfpenny was a lot. The Funny Wonder and things. Obviously, Half Holidays. Half Holidays. Half Holidays. What does that mean? Al Sloper's Half Holiday. I have no idea what half holiday means. Maybe it's a half a day holiday. Maybe that's what they meant. Little Sparks. I guess that's the case. I don't know. Oh, it's gone up a bit. 1.5 pence. Ooh. I suppose because of the colour, I suppose. That's the thing. And you've got here the Big Comic and Sparks. Again, some of these issues went for, not all, some actually went for, some issues went for a long, Tiny Tots. Tiny Tots, 1,344 issues. Tiger Tim's Weekly. Now that went for 965 issues and so on and so on. Penny comics of the 20s and 30s. You've got here the Larks, Jesters, Joker, Butterfly, Chips, etc., etc. A penny a piece. Venture strips. The Golden Arrow. Loads of examples, always written. Eagle, of course, as well. And now you're getting into the more. Now, of course, comics in the UK have virtually vanished. I mean, there's a few. And actually, at the end of this book, the sort of Commando, those sort of battle sort of things, about the only thing that's really left. Now, of course, you've got Beano, you've still got Dandy. I just noticed the Beano Winter Christmas, whatever, special is now in the shops. But it's just not the same. There's range, of course, you've got 2000 AD. There's a few that just keep it going. But compared what was in the 60s and 70s, nothing. Absolutely nothing, sadly. But the world has changed. Moved on. You don't get the shiver and shake now. Would kids probably read this? I doubt it somehow. Girls comics, again, absolutely. I must admit, girls comics, some great stories. And I was quite dismissive of the girl comics, obviously, when I was growing up. I shouldn't have been, because there was some really great artwork. Marilyn, Marty, Romeo, Roxy, Girl, Debbie. There was loads, hundreds and hundreds. But they were all full of brilliant artists, Spanish artists that quite often went off to like Warren magazines and Warren Publishing, etc. So you had some just first-rate artwork. If not, the stories were slightly, actually some of them were quite brutal, which was quite, but war comics. So you got the war comics, and that's really one of the big survivors. Very few other things have survived. You got, mentioned Commando, last page, that's still going in the shops. Occasionally I pick up a copy, not many, but it's still not a mega war fan. So, but it's got here an index at the back. I love an index. You can't beat a good old index. You've got here the Film Fun for Valor, Funny Cuts, Funny Folks, and so on. What a lovely book this is. Just a pity there's not more books about penny dreadfuls and comics, because it's just a whole part of our history that's sort of just been completely, utterly gone. Completely forgotten about. I mean, there's zillions of books about, you know, all the great sort of mega stars of the Victorian period, etc. Also, obviously, the Edwardian period as well. But so little about the material that probably many people would have been reading all the time. And sadly, it's gone and forgotten about to a vast degree. I mean, I can't imagine the percentage of people that actually still know much about this sort of thing, which is just a pity, because I think it's still pretty decent. And it's of its time, of course. You know, you don't want to rewrite the past. Some people might like to do that occasionally. However, Penny Dreadfuls and Comics. Absolutely brilliant book. Could have been just more. Penny Dreadfuls would have been great. But hopefully other books are available as well. I mean, there's, like I say, hopefully someone will bring out some Penny Dreadfuls. Dennis Gifford, there's obviously some as well. But not much.